This is Hooked by Happenstance, and I'm Kendra, and it is time to pick up our cogitation where we left off. So this is the completed cogitation cowl, which is the second batch of cogitating that I have done. Let me explain what the cogitation is, because you may not be familiar with it. I began this project, I don't know, months ago. I guess I began it in April. That's when I began it. And I was going back through and watching all of the videos here at Hooked by Happenstance, rewatching all my old videos, because I was coming up on a year of doing this, because I hit my 1-year anniversary May 15th of 2018. And so I decided I'll go back and watch all the old videos, and then I was turning it into a shawl. At the beginning, I thought I would turn all those videos into one item. Turns out I've made a lot of videos, and the way I chose to represent them in stitching turns out to make a lot of project. So this is actually just the month of August. Now, when I started the cogitation project, it was in April, and I was doing Veda, so vlog every day in April, or video every day in April, however you want to say it. And that was part of the way I was getting enough videos. I was going to do these cogitations. Turns out that I picked a pattern that was going to take a lot of time, both to watch the videos and write the patterns and then actually make the item. This is made out of fingering weight yarn. This is Loops and Threads wool-like in a number of colors. It's using a small hook because of the size of the yarn, so it takes a lot longer than I had, had the grand plans for in April. Have you noticed I have that problem sometimes where I take off and bite off more than I can chew? Happens a lot sometimes. But anyways, I still really like the idea of the project, and I've kind of been holding on to it, and I decided this month that I would finish out August. I had done a shawl that has May, June, and July in it, and that pattern I put all together, and that pattern is actually going to be available on Patreon at the $8 level for Peachlet's Pattern Pile. It will be over there if you are interested in making your own Cogitation Wrap 1. The Cogitation Cowl will also be up there probably during this first week of September. It'll be showing up because I need to take some pictures when I have some good light and it's not like a bajillion degrees out, because that's just not good for wearing hot things outside. Anyways, I went through and I watched all these videos, and so I thought I would talk to you a little about them. If you are not interested in the Patreon thing, you may be interested in the fact that I am putting playlists together on the channel here. If you are a new subscriber and you want to go back and see everything I've made, like in order, not necessarily by video type, I have put up a playlist for each month of the year that like the channel has existed. So there's like a May 2017. It has all the videos from May. Obviously, you'll notice that some months are going to be longer than others, and I'm going to keep making those playlists as I work on the cogitation. You will also notice that there are not going to be as many videos on that list, on those playlists, as there are in the cogitation that I'm talking about, or segments that there are, because I have taken the idea of Freaker Frog and applied it to my channel in some ways. I have gone through, and there are some videos that I am not happy with the quality of, or especially all of the tutorials, so all of the things where I show you how to make a pattern of mine, those have all been moved over to Patreon in Peachlet's Pattern Pile. So if you are interested in seeing those videos, you can go over there, and they are available. And there's links to the tutorials and all that over there as well. With my We Hook Wednesday pouches, which is the progressive like advent countdown calendar-y thing that I did last year, I have removed all of those videos from the channel for right now. I am retooling them, refilming a bunch, writing out all the patterns, and it will probably be coming out as an ebook. It might hit Peachlet's Pattern Pile before that, otherwise it will just go up as an ebook on Ravelry when it's done. But for right now, those have all been pulled down. If that's a problem, I'm sorry. There really weren't that many views. I've checked, and it had not been being watched lately in any great quantity. So anyways, those are the things that will be different. But I thought that we would just talk quickly, now that I've talked at length, we would talk quickly about last August and what went on the channel and what I learned from watching myself, because I'm taking this not only as a cool happenstance sort of experience to make a pattern based on like random chance, based on what I put up as videos. But I'm also taking it as a chance to look back on the videos and see what I've learned. When I started this in April, I was kind of coming to the realization that the channel had turned into like this oddly motivating thing. As you can see, I've kind of retooled some of the stuff, like my banner and stuff, that it's what, crafty motivation and crochet inspiration, because I think that at this point, explaining the why and the how of the crafting I do is more important than the what. At least to me, and I think from the comments and from interacting with y'all, that seems to be like a more useful tool for you. You can watch lots of people that will show you how to do stitches and how to make things and whatever, but I don't think a lot of people are talking about the reasons why we're doing the things we're doing and why we're making the choices that we're making, good, bad, or otherwise. I think that's like a good and important thing that more of us should probably be thinking about, myself included, which is part of the reason why I put out these videos, is because then I have to sit down and like process the information, and hopefully watching them helps you to do some of that processing too. Anyways, let's process what happened last August. There's already a video out for the first week of the month. I did 28 videos last August, which amounted to boop, boop, boop. Yeah, it amounted to boop, boop, boop. That's exactly right. No, it amounted to 259 minutes, or 4 hours and 19 minutes approximately, which was the same amount as June and July of 2017 combined. So in August, I put out a lot of videos, like a crazy sauce amount of videos. In addition to all the videos that I put out last August, I also traveled. Like, I went to visit my parents during that time, and I filmed videos at their house, and I had videos ready to publish from their house, and you know, it was a lot of finagling of things. It is notable that at that time I hit 100 subs in August of 2017. So many numbers, my goodness. And then when I started filming that first week of August into the first cogitation week in April, I was at 388 subs, and I'm somewhere around 580-ish right now. And as I always say, if you say a number, how many subs you have, that is just asking for people to flee and your number to look totally inflated. So if that's the case, it's just because I said the number, and that's what happens. Anyways, I am just going to peek through my notebook here. You may remember from watching the videos, this is where I've been jotting down my notes from watching the videos, and then also writing out the pattern as I'm working on it. And it has been pre-chewed by my father's dog. Thank you, Oi. And this, I'm now using a pen that I got from my dad's house because Oi chewed my preferred pen, which I found more of them in my house, so that's good. I'm now not short pens, but okie dokie. I found the area. So we are picking up from the 49th video that I made for the channel, which was a tutorial, which are tutorials I was making on a Tuesday. This tutorial is now available over on Patreon, and it was for a Roll the Dice cozy, which was a kind of a recipe for how to make a mason jar cozy. And I'm thinking I might do some more seasonal, like, jar-based designs, because I kind of think it's a neat idea. I think they're pretty simple, but I think that it's helpful. For some people, it's helpful to have ideas provided as opposed to just, like, digging them up out of your own brain. Yeah. The next thing that I did was a We Hook Wednesday pouch, and then I also did a Yarn Tales for the book Matched. I enjoyed the book Matched when I originally listened to it, except the end of the book was like, I enjoyed the world building portion, and the end of the book was kind of weird. And I tried listening to the sequel later when I finally came up on the waiting list for it, and it was just mind-numbing, and so I didn't finish the series. It had so much potential, and then it turned, I don't know, just obnoxious, and the narrator in the second book was obnoxious too. But I did some sped up design footage in that one for my Yarn Tales reading shawl, which I did not do all the time, but I did that time, and it was kind of neat. I also then put out a Freaker Frog, the fourth one. So many Freaker Frogs ago. And my comment I took in my notes was, drawer is so full with a bunch of lines and exclamation points. It was amazing how many things I had to Freaker Frog, and it is amazing at this point how many things I still have left, which I need to make some choices about. I mean, it's definitely gone down, but there's still a lot. Also, in that one, I made the decision of what to do with my jungle ring toy, which was to freak out about it, and it is now done as it's going to be, and it lives up on my shelf, so you might see it in the background of videos. And it's there to remind me how far I have come as a crocheter. The next video was a Speedy Stitches for the Roll the Dice Cozy. It's about 30 minutes of video down to 3 minutes, so it's pretty quick, but it was a decent watch at the time. Another We Hook Wednesday pouch. There are so many of those. 31 of them, in fact. And then I did a stitch by stitch video. I had tried doing not only kind of an overview video, but actually walking through stitch by stitch, because I had some questions and people being confused. Just not having a good tutorial set up made filming the tutorials a problem, but I have a better way now. I did another Yarn Tales. YT is what I wrote down. Yarn Tales, which was for Stargirl, another really good book that I listened to on the train. And I had commented during that video that making that shawl had changed the way I read already. And I think it is an interesting thing. Kind of like doing this cogitation, if you set out from the beginning to use a piece of art or media as an inspiration for what you're making, it is amazing how quickly it changes the way that you absorb that media. Because your brain, in addition to just taking in the plot or whatever, is just like the wheels are turning constantly, or at least they are for me. So it might be something that you would want to try and do, like listen to a piece of music or a piece of poetry or look at a piece of art and then try and interpret it and make it into something, or use it as an inspiration for the thing that you are working on. Are you going to make a sweater but you don't know what colors to do? Pick a favorite poem of yours and see if you can pull something out. Or are you reading a book currently and there's like a red house or a red door or something that's constantly talked about? Well, maybe that's the reason you use red as the accent color in the mitts you're making. And then you'll always know that those mitts have that red piece because of the book you were reading. And it's a nice way to kind of, I don't know, journal or catalog some of the little bits of our everyday life and the things that we're making at a given time. After I returned from my parents' house last August, I brought home a ton of yarn from Jeanette, and I actually went through as I was watching it and I tallied how many things I got and how many of them I thought I had used, / how many of them made it into my totes with my yarn stash videos of stuff. Alrighty, it's getting warm, so I'm gonna take this off. As smooshy and delightful as it is, it's still August here, people. Well, at least it's the almost September. We're in the wee hours. Anyways, in looking at that yarn that I got from Jeanette, when I was rewatching the video, I had used 33% of what I received, and 14% of it I was going to give away. And I feel like kind of guilty about some of those numbers, but then when I think about it, it wasn't yarn that I picked. It was all nice yarn, but it was yarn that was picked for me, so I don't feel as terrible about the choices because they weren't choices that I made. It's not like I went out and thought I had a purpose for all the things and then turned out not to. You know what I mean? So I feel like those numbers are really good, actually, for the scenario with which I acquired the yarn. The next thing was a look at my craft booth for Antique and Junk Fest. I chose not to do that show this year, even though it's just in my town, because it was really hot and I had not had good sales there the previous 2 years. So I just decided to spend my time differently, and it was more worthwhile. I then did a Makes Monday episode, which the power went out at my house during that one. I remember filming it. It was a rigmarole, especially because I was trying to do this whole video every day, and that meant that my podcast had to come out and I had to film it that day. And every time I make one of these commitments to do something every day, life happens. I'm just not, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Organized enough, maybe? Committed enough. I'm overcommitted so that I can't do these things. But anyways, I had another pouch for the month, and there's a lot of steps to that pouch, and another pouch, and another stitch by stitch video. Then we had another yarn tales. I read a lot during this month because I was traveling and stuff, and so by read I mean I listened to a lot of audiobooks, and that's when I listened to Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, which by the way is so good. If you have not listened to my little review of it, or if you have not listened to it, the audiobook is amazing. Lin-Manuel Miranda is so well cast as the narrator. That one also had a little footnote because I made a little change afterwards. Then we had my 5th Freaker Frog, where I still have not, that yarn was looking at me last night when I was going through the drawer. I still have not found the right thing to make out of that yarn, but I am glad that I frogged what was in there. And again, I have a quote I wrote of mine that says, "Get over the feelings you have involved with these projects and do something with them." Clearly, I just find as I do the Freaker Frogs, there's a lot of feelings involved in the projects that we make. And most of them, for me, I think if they're unfinished, are all like terribly negative. Either you're unhappy with the reason or thing that got in the way of you finishing a project, or you're mad that you took on the project to begin with, or like, I'm mad that I missed a date. Things were due, like you missed a deadline, and that sucks, but you know what? Get over it and do something with it. Either finish it or don't, but it sitting around is not helping anybody, and it's certainly not helping you, just having that like guilt hang over you. She says to herself repeatedly. There was another shop preview, and I actually put up a lot of things in that shop preview. It made for quite the segment of, I think it's that white segment right there actually, is from that shop preview. Then we had another Makes Monday, and I did a decent amount. I had a lot of things on my hook, not a huge amount off, but I was all about making bugabees that week. And then poof, I decided to go camping with my family, and it was actually really fun. We discovered a new lake that we really liked, and then have not had the time or energy to go to this year, but there's always next year. And there's always more time for this year, but we probably won't end up making it out there this year. This August has just gotten away from me, kind of like last August did. So it was interesting looking back and seeing all the videos I put out last August. To be honest, like when I was watching them, like sometimes I'll watch the videos from a past time and like I can remember and feel like being in it, and I don't know. The last year's a little bit blurry, so I don't really remember a great deal about a lot of it, so it's useful to me to go back and look at it and see that I was accomplishing things. Clearly there's a lot more of you than there were back then, so doing something okay, if not right. If you are interested, again, in the Cogitation cowl pattern, it will be up on Patreon this first week of September at the $8 level or higher. And also at that point, you also get a postcard from Peachlet here, and I every month, and pattern for the Inspiritment shawl, but I guess you get all the patterns at the $8 level. So anyways, that is everything for this installment of the Cogitation. I will try and come back at the end of September with a review of what I did last September, and it should be much briefer because I did far fewer videos in September of 2017 than I did in August, because I realized that a video every day might be pushing it, especially when I'm daily vlogging as well. And at that point, I was doing a really good job of actually posting like long daily vlogs too. And right now, that might not be happening so well. Sorry. If that's a thing that you enjoy. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. That is what looking back has shown me, is that I was doing my best then and I'm doing my best now, and sometimes your best just changes and we have to be willing to go along with that change. On the screen next to me is a link to that video I talked about that was from the beginning of August, the beginning of that cowl. And there's also a link to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more of these videos. Check out the playlist that I am setting up for the month by month if that is the way you would like to see some of the old content that you may have missed if you're new around here. And I will see you all next time. Bye!